Welcome everyone for the astrology capsule of the month of May 2018. Let's just do a brief recap on the very last days of the month of April. So first, on April 29th, it was the Vesak celebration. And the Vesak celebration is the timing of that celebration is given by the full moon of Taurus, when the sun is in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio, that full moon. And it's a very important full moon where the spirit comes to pollinate, comes to give its energy to the planet Earth, to the material world of the planet Earth. And it's very important. It's a great celebration. There's a lot of people, pilgrims from all around the world that goes to the Mount Kailash in Tibet, and they go there, and if they cannot go there physically, they actually go there spiritually, just by their imagination or through their dreams or through any spiritual work they can do to reach Mount Kailash. It's a great celebration, a great spiritual celebration where everybody just tune together and are receptive for the energies of the spirit. Some see Christ being present, giving its spiritual energy to the planet. Some see Buddha. Other people see Shiva, and so on. But it's always that very strong spiritual energy, presence, being, divinity, giving its energies for the planet for a whole year. So it is the moment where the energy of fertility are everywhere on the earth, and the spirit is touched, is called by it, and it's just coming and giving all its energy to the planet. So it's very beautiful. It's a great celebration. And right after that will come the first days of the month of May. And we're just given a little astrological break after that great full moon of Taurus on April 29th. And then during this little break, I'm saying a little break because there's no huge astrological aspect that will be really changing things. It's mainly actually just a slowing down of the aspects we were used to. On the last months, we had a lot happening in Capricorn with Saturn, with Pluto, a lot of energy of structure, a lot of that was happening. Well, this will slowly decrease and become less present for us. That will be going, that little break will allow us to really benefit from this full moon of Taurus of April 29th. It's just a time to just absorb it within. And just by the way, on April 29th, take a moment, do some meditation just to connect with everybody that will be tuning up with this full moon of April on Mount Kailash. It's a great celebration. Again, at I.D.E.A.L Society, we are an NGO with the UN and with special consultative status at the UN. And every year we receive some greetings from the UN saying happy Vesak celebration. And I'm just saying this just for you to realize that there's millions of people celebrating this full moon. Actually, it's very special. There's a lot of people are connected, and it's very deep. It's a very deep experience. If you want to Google Mount Kailash, Vesak celebration, and so on, please go ahead. It's really worth it. I really love it myself. Every year I take a good moment just to tune up with this energy, and I try just to go there, and as much as I can through my imagination, again, my dreams, or just by visualization. So and it's wonderful. It's a great gathering of spiritual people, basically, and they just tune up with this great energy, giving so much to the planet for a whole year. And there's always different images coming. It's beautiful. It's very nice. So we'll have a little time just to absorb all this energy and allow ourselves to be touched by it and to feel it as deeply as possible, and it will give us a lot of strength for a full year. So that's wonderful. And it goes like this till mid-May, where it will be the new moon. And the new moon will be a very special moment. Very, very special. It's actually the entrance of Uranus in Taurus. And at that very place there, in first degrees of Taurus, Mercury is there as well. So it will be a conjunction of Uranus and Mercury in Taurus. And it's happening at the exact same time as the new moon of Taurus. Like Uranus, it's coming in Taurus like 2 or 3 hours right after the moon reached the sun in Taurus to form the new moon of Taurus. So very important. And at the same time, we have Mars that is entering Aquarius. So it's forming a square because Aquarius and Taurus are in square. So it's forming a strong square. So Uranus there in Taurus has a specific role. It's very important. It's actually in detriment. And a planet being in detriment in Taurus, like Uranus, has a very specific role. It has the role of showing us that Taurus is actually not only creating abundance of life on Earth. It's showing that Taurus is not only about creating so much connection with the spirit and the material world. It's not only about this vitality, this as I said, this abundance of life on Earth. It's not only about that. It's also about changing the habits that we have, because the habits that we have are always calling for certain types of reactions and energies from the invisible world. Or I say invisible world, but it could be only like, it could be as simple as the reactions of other people. They're like their emotional reactions. This is invisible, like the emotional thing happening inside that is triggering something quite visible. So it's Taurus is also about changing this through this planet Uranus. When it gets in Taurus, it shows us that Taurus is also about that. And I always say that astrological signs are way more than just those little tendencies that we give them, like, oh, you're that sign, you will be your character will be like this, and whatnot. And this is very for me, it's like astrological small talk. And for me, astrological signs are way bigger than that. Each one of them is a 12th of the whole sky, of the whole cosmos around us. And within them, there are thousands and millions and trillions of stars. That means a lot of light, a lot of power, a lot of warmth. It's strong. Like, astrological signs are not only a small way of looking at things. It's way more than that. For me, it's a great spiritual being, an astrological sign. It's a great spiritual consciousness. And they have way more to bring to us than just those usual tendencies that we use when we usually do the astrological small talks. This is a big topic right there. So I'm just touching the surface of it at the moment, just to let you know that Uranus has such special role in Taurus, and it's going to be in Taurus for more than 6 years, almost 7. So that's very important. That entrance of Uranus in Taurus will actually color the whole stay of Uranus in Taurus, and that is critical. So the fact that its entrance is on a new moon, and the fact that the entrance of Uranus is also in conjunction with Mercury, and it's also in square with Mars, is saying a lot. It means that for those next 6 to 7 years, we will be working at first shaking our cellular memories, right? Because Taurus is about flesh. It's about matter. It's about the matter that is ready to welcome the spirit, as we said for the Vesak celebration, that full moon of Taurus when the sun is in Taurus. So Uranus is there to shake this, shake our flesh, to shake our material reality, to shake it so that what our material reality will attract from the invisible, from the spiritual world, will be different. It's about freeing us from those, we in the initiatic science we usually say the entities. You know, there are some entities that are connected to us and they follow a thread connected to our physical world, to the actually those memories that are in our cells. They follow that thread, and the habits that we have, the habits that we go with every single day, they follow that and they connect with us, and then they are with us and they're just around us, and it changes everything. Those entities, those energies that are there, because everybody react to them. So it really changes our reality, and Uranus is there to shake this. And since Mercury is in conjunction with Uranus at that moment, it's also shaking our way of thinking connected with those entities, because those entities are changing our entire reality. Basically, it's some kind of pattern that are there. We call them pattern, we call them habits and so on, but it's just it's an energy from the invisible that is there, and it makes us do things, right? And that energy is there, and it can be changed, and it also and it also impact our way of thinking, because when you're so used to habit, then you start thinking that this is how life is built. This is life, right? People say, oh, that's life, right? You know, what else do you want? What else do you expect? That's life, you know. And Uranus being there in conjunction with Mercury, it will be shaking that mentality as well, that everybody has its own mentality regarding its own habits. So it's going to be shaking that as well. And through the square it has with Mars, it will also be shaking the action, you know, those habits, the action that those habits are pushing us to do. So it's very strong, very important. And since it's a new moon, it will also, it's also saying that it's happening not only to destroy what was there, and this is actually not even the main point, it's shaking our reality just to be able to attract new energies, new entities, to attract new habits, let's say, right? So that's very key, the fact that it's happening at the meantime as the new moon of Taurus. So the moon and the sun are in Taurus, Mercury is in Taurus, Uranus is just reaching there and connecting. So that's very strong, very important. So that's mid-May. And then that will just develop, grow, have more and more light, more and more energy. That will just increase more and more till the full moon of May, which will be, the sun will be in Gemini and the moon will be in Sagittarius. And so at that full moon, it will be the beginning of a really big triangle in the sky made of trines through water signs. So Venus will be in Cancer, we'll have Jupiter in Scorpio, and Neptune in Pisces. And all of those will be forming a trine around 15 degrees of each water sign. So that will be very strong, and it's really touching our intuition. So this new connection that Uranus, you know, through shaking our cellular memories, attracting new energies, the aim of that work, because we're coming from a new moon to a full moon. So the moon is just increasing its light within, right? It's just growing. And when it reaches its peak, it's reaching that big water triangle made of trines. So it shows us that the new energies that we're trying to attract through our own cells, through our material world, because it's Taurus, right? So it's like flesh, it's very dense. But still, if it's receptive enough, it's able to attract energies. And it's always receptive enough because there's so many energies. There will always be some entities, some energies that will be ready to work with any type of matter that we propose, right? So, and that's it's always there. It's always active. So whenever we do this, it will attract new energies, and those new energies that are we have the potential to get. I mean, to attract, to work with, are connected with this water triangle. And again, the planets that are involved in this water triangle are Venus, Jupiter, Neptune. It's all very beneficial planets, very opening planets that will allow us to grow, to take more space, to, Venus, it's so sweet. It makes us happy. It makes us in love. So it's very strong. It's very powerful. It's very beneficial. There's nothing sour in Venus. It's just sweet. And Jupiter on its side, it's just so generous. It's bringing plentiness of everything, of strength, of food, of everything that we like, that we were attracted to, that we want. So those two planets are usually known in astrology as the great beneficial planets. And Neptune is actually so opening that it's just infinite. It's this strong intuition that has no limit at all. It's just so deep, so vast, so wide, limitless, really. And those three planets together in the water signs are just extremely strong to motivate, to stir, to move our intuition. To start bring some life in our imagination, in our intuitive world, in our inner life. It will just bring more generosity to this water energy within. So that's the energy that we are proposed to connect with. So our physical reality will be shaped by Uranus and everything around its entrance in Taurus, and it will open the door to this beautiful intuitive energy. So that's the month of May. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have questions, please just ask them. Any comments, go ahead, and please like and share. It's just a pleasure to share this with you. Thank you so much, and see you for next month